I apologize for that. I have no idea what happened. My computer just totally zonked. I don't know what happened. So I apologize. I hope people will jump back on over here. I'm here and left the other place. I apologize for that. But if you're here and you see it, let me know. I don't know what happened to the other one. It just totally went out. But I'm back. It just totally, something just happened. I don't know. But I'm back. Okay. I don't need them. So I'm back. If you're here, let me know. I'm gonna just keep talking, and it'll be great. It'll link up in a second. But anyway, so March 11th or 12th, I believe it was 11th or 12th. No, March 11th. I actually went in the studio to do a project, and my wife and I have a label, Imani Records, and I said, all right, I'm gonna go in here and do this project, and I called a few people, and ironically, I'm just not to say it like I want to claim it, but ironically, 2 years ago, we started doing something where when people were in town, I have a guy that has a mobile studio, and we were doing this series, and we were going to call the series "Live in the Living Room," which is so ironic that now that's what we're doing. But originally, we had started recording some sessions that were recorded in our house a while ago, maybe 2 years ago. Um, so I wanted to do one more of those, and I did this one in the studio, and I called Buster Williams, Wallace Roney, Gene Jackson, and we recorded on the 11th, and it was like, not everything is good. Everything is good. Went out on the road that weekend and came back to this. Uh, and tours were cut short and blah blah blah. So the first month or so, maybe first week or so, I was like, okay, something's going to happen. We're going to get through this, or what. I didn't know what. I didn't. I just knew something was going to happen. We're going to get through this. I actually did a live Facebook Live thing just to play the first week that we were actually quarantined. Honestly, not thinking about like I'm like, this is going to be over. So after about 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I got to the point where I'm like, this is not going to be over right now. And what am I going to do? Um, and at that point, and honestly, thank God, just to be real, for the lessons my parents taught me, and also uh, just some other decisions I made. We were cool. My wife has a full-time job. I was like, okay, we can try to figure this out without going crazy. But then I realized that wasn't what was making me crazy. It was just not being able to play, not being able to go out, not being able to do like some of the same things I used to do, just and be social, and that was getting to me. And then the idea that this is going to be a year, um, and I'm hoping that musicians are really planning for that. This is going to be a year, pretty much, and then even more time after that for us to figure out how to get back to this. Uh, so I had to deal with just some things mentally, and so I started like, okay, well, I'm going to finish this record, and so I finished a record for Caleb Willard Curtis on my label, Imani Records, and I was like, this is what I'm going to focus on right now, and I did that, and we have another record coming out featuring J.D. Walter, a great singer, and I just dealt with that for maybe a week or so. I was like, all right, I'll deal with that. Then I did some workshops online. I said, I'll do that. It was more about just occupying my mind. And then I have two adult sons that one of my youngest was graduating college with a degree that I knew in basically in music production that I knew there's nothing he could do right now for real, graduating. And my other son just got out of Navy after 6 years, and he left his job because of COVID because he was installing and security systems. So I'm like, let's do something else. Let's just let's uh, let's figure out some other things to do. So and I have no problem saying it, I did have a day where I was like, what am I doing? I ended up doing Instacart because my whole thing was like, I don't want to tell my kids to do it if I wouldn't do it, you know. And I wanted to prove to basically my oldest son that he can make his rent in a short amount of time uh, if he hustles. So I went out there and I hustled Instacart and I made a choice to go way out into just other neighborhoods because I didn't want to mistakenly be delivering to somebody that, hey, I got your record. I love the new record. And here I am with some groceries in my hand. But I did that consistently for about a week. Uh, and honestly, if the world gets crazy, er, who knows if I'll be out there. I actually enjoyed it. I was in my car listening to music and I mean shopping. I like going to the grocery store. I'm weird, but I did that. That was one of the things I did to just occupy my mind. And then I wanted to quarantine with members of the Captain Black Big Band because we just had a record out and we couldn't we released the record in the middle of all of this. Uh, so I'm like, well, what am I going to do about this record? Let's make some more music. Let's build a Patreon page. Let's do something. So I couldn't really work it out because some of the studios weren't available in order to like that had lodging and we could record. So I found a studio and I talked to one of the drummers from Captain Black Big Band, Jason Brown. I said, "Hey man, you mind coming to stay with me? And we'll quarantine together and then we'll do some recording." So we went out to the studio. We did some recording. We did a live stream for Blue Note, and I got some stuff done for the Patreon page and some other things. But from that video, I've been able to, and this is all leads into what I've done during this time and what we have to get accustomed to. I've been able to use that video in different formats. It was 4 hours of us playing. So the Pittsburgh Jazz Festival actually used a portion of it. I figured out doing another live stream for the DC Jazz Festival tomorrow. And I never wanted to do the live stream with my like this, honestly, with my computer because stuff happens, and I'm always trying to figure it out. So I've been using Jason Fifield, a great audio and video guy, who's been helping me do the stream so they sound good too. Just putting your phone up doesn't always sound good. So I've been finding a way to work for me. But earlier, before I got out, we got cut off earlier, one of the things I was going to say is I've been really understanding and living with the lyrics of Different Strokes. You know, the TV show Different Strokes, the TV theme song, not the other one. But basically, it's we're in a point where no one, no one knows what to do. No person knows what to do that I know that's alive. There's no COVID handbook. There's what a performing artist should do. So the first and second month was based on what everybody else thinks you should do. Should you live stream? Should you not live stream? Should you blah blah blah? Whatever. There were so many questions on what we should do, and at a certain point, I realized that we all have to do whatever we think is the right thing to do right now because there is no handbook. When I first moved to New York, one of the names I had, uh, in a book that my father gave me, he wrote down some names. It's Gail Boyd, Ora Harris, Stanley Crouch. Like there was somewhat, even though this is pre-internet and everything, he gave me names of people who he knew of in the business or he had read on the back of a record, whatever. But there was something. Call those people and see what you can do. But when you deal with what we're dealing with right now, there is no manual. There's no manual, and you have to figure out what works for you. So I mean, even some of my best friends who are musicians, like, "Oh, are you doing those live streams?" Well, I'm figuring out how to make them work for me. I've been doing the patio jazz on my patio out front. This is our third one. The first one I did, I'll be honest, I did with just my iPhone, and I hated it. Then Jason Fifield came out, and I mean, I'm investing in that. It's not a so you know Jason doesn't come over here and set up all that audio equipment to sound good for free, you know, and these musicians aren't sitting here for free. So this is an investment on Imani Records putting into making sure that the sound is good for you, and it's an investment in my spirit. It's an investment in making sure that I feel good, because there's times when I wake up and I don't, and what we're dealing with. But if I know, hey, I've been quarantining with, Jason Brown did it for the first couple times. Anwar and Anthony Tidd did it yesterday. And we're just trying to live as safe as we can. We sit there, play with the mask. I will be honest, it's very hard to talk on the microphone with the mask, so I lower it, and I'm trying to get better at it. But right now, none of us know what to do. So I'm not saying I'm doing the right thing. I'm just saying what uh, I'm doing for myself, and in my mental state. And it's been fun. It's been fun to invest some time into my record label. It's been fun to invest some time into these live streams, but it's not the same thing. But it's becoming something. Next week we have some other artists that are going to do the patio jazz, mask on, hand sanitizer everywhere, and actually no one really, the musicians and the sound guy come in the house. Everybody else is outside on my patio, on my grass, and I only invite maybe 10 people, although a few more showed up yesterday. But I only invite 10 people, and they sit out there. Um, and I'm just trying to figure out what works for me. And this may not work for you, and that's totally okay. That's totally okay. I've been talking to a bunch of musicians, uh, other ones who are not coming out the house. I mean, you have to realize a lot of us have, not just musicians, just people have medical issues that you may not even know of, that they don't need to come out the house during this time. So we all just have to do what we think is best for us. And thankfully, I have a partner in my life, my wife, who's been helping me manage and navigate what works, and Jason, again, I mentioned him for the third time, but having someone that lives that close to me, that deals with the sound, so that when we do these live streams, we're putting out uh, some good product, at least, that you're not sitting there trying to figure out how it sounds on your headphone. It doesn't, So at this point, we all just need to find a way to do what makes us happy. And the other day, maybe 2 days ago, Saturday, I remember Saturday morning, I woke up and I was just like, I was down there. I couldn't get there. I couldn't find the grocery deliveries to make me happy. I couldn't find the the patio jazz to make me. I couldn't find the live stream to make me happy. I was in there, but I think some people at the same time misunderstood what the post was. They're like, is Orrin okay? Is he okay? What I did is I realized that I had to renegotiate my relationship with music, point blank. I wanted music to be the same relationship I had already had. Like, I go out, we hang, we're at wherever, we're at this club, I tour, I get on planes, blah blah blah. Everything was cool. And but I had to realize, wait, I can still have a relationship with music. I just have to adjust and figure out what that relationship is going to be. And honestly, I just see Karen said something. Honestly, my my teacher from Rutgers University, Kenny Barron, helped me with that, because I know Kenny Barron is not a major social media person, and to see him say, "I just need to play and share some music," it really spoke to my heart. Like, okay, this we're all trying to figure out what to do, and it's also, I understand the need to stay home. I understand But when you're a social person and you just miss, I went to Smalls and I did a gig and it was so hard and not to just hug. It's not, and just say, hey, how you doing? Because that's what this music is about for me. Uh, so basically, that's what I've been doing, trying to find my place. Patio jazz is going to happen all summer. I'm going to invite some different people to come out. Imani Records is going to release 2 records in September. Um, and it was supposed to be 3, and one of them we pulled a duo with Kevin Eubanks because we wanted to do it later. And even that scares me because honestly, I don't think we're going to be out of this. And I've already released the Captain Black Big Band in the middle of a pandemic. So I don't know how it's going to work out, releasing a record while we're going through this, but on our label, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to answer a quick question. Karen says, have you figured out what is a good fee charging for live? Thank you. Now, here's the thing that I haven't, well, there are a few. Nugs is one, just if anybody wants to write that down. There's another one called Stage It. And they're doing, and I'm still figuring this out. I haven't committed to anything. They're doing live streams, which are like pay limit. I forgot what the word is, pay stream, but basically you could watch 3 minutes of it and then you have to contribute. I'm talking as the audience person first, Karen. So and that's where I would like to go to, where I'm having I'm having streams where people can look at them 5 minutes and then have to contribute to it. As far as what I've been doing with the musicians, I've just been paying the musicians. But I'm trying to figure out how to really maximize on the live stream and how to do it. I have not figured it out because I don't think I have no, I don't even have to say I don't think. I know giving it away for free on Facebook is not the way, but I've been talking about 2 different things. One is my spirit, one is my, financially or whatever. And my spirit needed the live streams on Facebook. So for the month of June, which is one more, and then we're going to still do it on Facebook, and it'll be quote unquote donation. Just people can donate on those formats. But then at the same time, I'll just be real, the streams, the number of people that are watching it, but then the number of people that are donating. So we have to, if you're getting it and you're enjoying it and you're commenting and you're liking it, just go ahead and throw something out there. I mean, I'm already, not to throw numbers out, but I'm paying audio, I'm paying video for you, the audience, to get a great product. So at the same time, it'd be great to donate back. But no, Karen, I haven't figured it out. And any suggestions you have, anyone has, to figuring out how we can do this stream world, because that's what we're going to be doing, honestly. I did the Blue Note stream. I'm doing another one for the DC Jazz Festival. With those DC Jazz Festival, Pittsburgh, and a few other institutions, they're actually contributing to the live stream. So I haven't figured out how to do some of these other things. And also another thing, shout out to the Jazz Coalition, the Music Cares, the Grammys. There are a lot of people who have helped musicians in these times, and I've been able to recycle those things and put them back into the industry, and I'm sorry, into the environment, and inviting people to hear music. So I figured out a way to make the music available. Now I just got to figure out a way to make the music, make everybody pay for it. But I think we've been dealing with that before live stream. Yes, I agree. I agree. Karen just said, I think there needs to be a discussion among artists so we can have a minimum pay and create a standard that is most favorable to artists. Totally agree. Totally agree. And I think some of these venues who are offering their social media pages, that's great. That's great. And I did one on Blue Note, and I was able to pay, like I said, pay for my studio time. But at the same time, we need to, those venues that are giving you that opportunity to host a performance on their website or on their Facebook or on their social media, they have to figure out a way that we can be compensated at the same time. Any other questions? Now I see the questions flowing in. Any other one? Any questions? Yeah, that's funny. That's exactly what I was saying the other day. Just sitting down and really dealing with my relationship with music. It's not because I can't. I will never end it. I will never end it. But it's going to be different for the next year or so. It's going to be totally different. And I agree, Richard, about the sponsorship. And right now, I'll be the sponsor. You know, right now for what I'm doing with Imani Records, until we all figure this out, because it's not going to happen overnight. There's no way this is going. I mean, this started March. We all thought that our June dates were still going to be on. Some of us thought we were going to be out in July. I personally didn't. You know, some people still think they're going to be on tour in August. I still talk to people, and then other people think they're going to be in September and October. So the process of us figuring this out is going to be a lengthy process because everyone's accepting what's happening at a different point. Um, I, I'm down the drive-in tour thing. What's really important is knowing the bands, knowing who your bandmates are, and are they cool with this? Are they cool with that? So when everybody says, "Oh, this is great," okay, well, Orrin, you want to do this live concert out, and we're going to do a drive-in. Okay, that's great. Do I have a band of 6 people that are willing to go on a drive? That means we got to be in a car. That means, like this. Somebody said the other day when the COVID stuff was happening, I was doing this. I'm like, dude, the COVID stuff is not over. Like, what are you talking about? So that's the biggest thing is how do we navigate this together? I'm figuring out how I navigate this together. But then we have to figure out how we navigate this together. I hope that made sense. Smalls actually got to answer your question, Smalls got a donation from Billy Joel actually, and that money was used to pretty much pay the artist for and his rent, Smalls' rent for the summer. So those gigs, all of those gigs, were paid through a donation, and Spike turned Smalls into a nonprofit. Yes. So when we played it, now the live stream, you as the artist own the live stream. When you finish, every gig I've ever done there, I own. I have the copy of those tapes, and I can do whatever I want with them. Some artists, that's not what you want to do. That's fine. Like I said, everybody's got to find a way to shine. Just keep repeating the lyrics at different strokes to you. But for me, I can use this is just me. I'll do a video, I'll do a gig wherever. If I get the copy of the tape and the tape is mine, that concert is mine to do whatever I want to do. So I can edit it, put it on my website. I can edit it and use it for other things. So I hope that answered your question for the live stream, Andrea. And also, we moved in Captain Black Big Band. Our Patreon page comes up Wednesday. Starts on Wednesday, and it's all the members of the Captain Black Big Band. So I've been doing that too. Eugene Holly, have you been inspired to write? Nope. And it's funny because I haven't. I don't. We have a friend staying here who loves records, and so do I. I have a ton of vinyl, and I have still. Last night was the first night in 3 months that I was able to sit down and just listen to music with them. It's kind of like that relationship, and although music did nothing to me to break my heart, but it's that thing where you have relationship and you're like, I don't want a constant reminder of that relationship. So I couldn't listen to music. I watched a bunch of TV. I just really couldn't listen to music. And the first time I was able to compose was thankfully to the Jazz Coalition grant I received, and I had to write a song. So I was able to sit down, and that gave me the inspiration to really do it. But as far as honestly, I'm getting back to being able to listen and love uh, music, and not because I fell out of love, but because it's just a constant reminder of, at that point, of what wasn't happening. So the patio jazz thing brought it back for me during that, and also just recording and being in the studio, those things. Um, yeah, and see, that's the other thing. Uh, Agreeing with Reggie. Yeah, you have to really think about what everyone else in the band is comfortable with. Even if it is local gigs and you're doing a drive-by thing, everybody's got a different. Now I sound like I'm about to sing the lyrics of Different Strokes again, but everybody's got a different way of dealing with this. I mean, I see Ralph out there right now, and honestly, Ralph is high risk, so we all have to think about how we all act around him, and it's not just as easy to say, hey, why don't the musicians slap on some gloves and blah blah blah. You have to think about how this affects everyone. um oh, we've done that. Very good. I appreciate all you're flowing with the ideas. You're really flowing with the ideas. I hope it's Andrea and I'm not saying it wrong, but we've done that. We've done a few with Tar Baby. I've done some with my band. So uh, and I did 2 workshops on Zoom where I charged, and we had to do that. So that's definitely been there. And Ralph, thank you. That's also speaking of that. During a time, and I kind of mentioned it earlier. I don't know if it was before I got cut off earlier, but um, that has been that's put a whole nother twist on it, man. 2 black men, um, not only dealing with the pandemic, but dealing with everything else, with the riots. And I'm in Philly, so I don't know if you saw what really went down in Center City, but and making sure they're able to speak their voice, survive the pandemic, survive America, and still grow as human beings. And that's definitely the biggest job I've been dealing with through all of this, and making sure they're safe. So it's like, I don't. It's making sure they're safe. Just putting it out there like that, and trying to be. And I kind of brought that up in a post the other day, trying to be that strong one when I know this is some deep stuff right now. This is some deep stuff. Ralph, you cooking curry? What's in the curry? What kind of? See, I will never forget your spaghetti sauce. I know you don't even remember. I don't even know you remember this. I stayed at your place. This was maybe pre-dawn. So maybe I need to write a song called Pre-Dawn, but this is definitely Pre-Dawn, and you made some spaghetti. I'll never forget that.
Spaghetti, it's a thing, huh?
Oh, see. Anyway, poses. We have a live stream coming to the president. We did the penis on the stars at the people because of tune with the understanding we generated $2,000. We really encourage you. We're trying to figure out what like I said, I'm sorry I did that. It was a quick reading. Like I said, man, I am right now, other than us trying to figure out the best way to be compensated. That might be the one thing we're unified on. But right now we're just trying to figure it out. And along with making sure we're compensated, we also have to make sure we're happy. Our mental, there's been tons of, okay, how can we get the mechanicals and the publishing if they're streaming? Okay, how can we do this? How can we make sure everybody's compensated for streaming? Blah 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 blah. All of that is very important. All of that is very important. But remember, we're in a pandemic, and what's even more important is, are you happy? Are you waking up in the morning and happy? I mean, with Dawn just mentioned it, but with the big band, I've been like, randomly, I'll just send out a text and I'll say, hey, meet me on Zoom. And we all just make sure we're cool, you know? And this ain't. I mean, look, I've cried more in the last 2 weeks than I've ever cried in my life. You know, and we have to be okay with that, understanding that this is a deep time, and I can't compare whatever time I'm going through with whatever another artist is going through. What I will say is everybody needs to figure out a plan right now. Figure out what that plan is going to be for you, and your plan might be different. And make sure you know. To all, I wouldn't, man. I could never have survived this 20 years ago if I was well, 25 years ago. I would have never survived this if it was when I first moved to New York. I don't know how some of those young musicians are dealing with it, and if you ever need to rap, give us a call. Give us, and when I say us, I'm talking about the older. I mean, I'm not that older, but you know, I'm older than you if you're 20. And reach out because this has got to be. If I'm waking up like, I know, you know, the fact that if you're 21, just graduated, or have a senior year coming up at Juilliard or Manhattan School of Music, and you're like, what do I do? This has got to be rough. So, besides everything based on what do you do as far as booking, what do you do as far as streaming, what do you do as far as anything else, I just want to make sure all of you are happy. And that's a challenge for me every day. And I'm a happy mug. I got a nice house. And I don't mean it like that, but I'm happy. But I miss music. And I know if all of you, you know, younger musicians have had that same relationship that I have with her, this is rough. So just make sure you're reaching out to everyone. I've called all the older musicians just to reach out to them, and you know, I remember one conversation I had with Lenny White. You know, every once in a while, I called Lenny White, and I said, man, when I see you on the other side of this, and he said, whatever that is, and it made me feel good because I was like, okay, and he's like, I don't know either. None of us know, but in the meantime, we'll be doing patio jazz until we figure it out. If you know my address, don't stop by. It's only by invitation only, but you can stream and check it out. Next week we'll have Lucas Curtis and Mark Whitfield, which honestly I'm like even now getting filled up because I haven't seen those brothers in 4 months, 4 or 5 months, and they're really special people to me. And keep those text chains going. I know it's annoying. People are like, oh, my phone keep going off, but you have no idea. I shout out to Will Calhoun and John Paul Morelli and Greg Osby. There's this like this text exchange, and every day I hear my phone, I don't, you know, and I see those texts, it inspires me. You know, it inspires me that we're gonna get through this. You know, and whatever it is that keeps you happy and sane, go ahead and do it. And then after that, yes, Karen, but after that, you might see some other stuff going on in the patio. So as far as an alternative venue, let's rap. I got a sound system. I got a keyboard though. That's the only problem. But I don't know. Maybe I can figure that out and get a Rhodes out there. But as far as alternative venues, let's just everything is alternative right now. We have to figure out how we're going to do it. And thank you to Gail Boyd for giving me the opportunity to rap. Uh, Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Ralph, uh, and Michelle. Hey, I'm gonna forget names. Karen, everybody. Thank you for your questions. Uh, and really stay safe out there. Stay safe out there. If you have some people who are making masks, share that information. There's the last thing. I'm on my rambling. This is a time to share information, and I'm gonna share some information that, uh, and I'll tell you how I got the whole process of sharing information. When I moved to New York, oh, this is gonna get deep because Ralph is kind of involved in this. But when I moved to New York, and I'm not gonna say his name, I got this accountant that a lot of us had. None of us have them now, but that accountant was based on a suggestion for me from Alvester Garnett. And then, and we were all in, I mean, I might have been 21, 22. I hadn't even, honestly, I hadn't even paid taxes at that point. And because I had no money. So I was like, I wasn't paying taxes. So I hooked up with that accountant. And because of a conversation with Greg Hutchison and Alvester Garnett, I started an LLC. It was like I was going between whether I was going to do an LLC or incorporate. But I did an LLC. So that's over 20 years ago. You know, and there were reasons why. That's a whole nother artist talk. There were reasons why I did the LLC. But if I hadn't done that LLC, I'm just being real, one of the things that I was able to do during this time to try to survive until everything is back is I applied for SBA loan and received some other grants. But SBA, if you haven't and you have an LLC, go for it. It's one of the, I mean, you have to look it up and see, but extremely low interest rate, very low payments, and it's a percentage of it is forgivable, and the other percentage is a loan. So if you have an LLC or you are incorporated and you've done that and you did that back in the day, run out there or you don't have to run nowhere. Just look online, SBA, different loans that are out there. Will the LLC versus incorporated versus on? Oh, cool. Thank you, Gail. And I was able to do that. So to all you young musicians out there, that some of them that are younger, really investigate how you're going to survive during this if there's another pandemic, because there's ways to do it. And I appreciate Alvester and all the information I got from even Ralph back in the day, just even starting, you know, I had started my record company and then started his record company, how we're doing it. There's ways to survive this. So I appreciate it. I'm rambling. Thank you. 41 minutes. I'm over my time. Thanks a lot, Gail. Love you all. Stay safe.